That's a real good way to start a battle, you know? Like, just we'll solve that issue through our forget the words. I don't like talking words when it comes to talking trash. I'd rather, let's prove it through action on the Cypher. Bring your best team, and we'll bring our best team, and let's just settle it
No
once and for
doubt.
all.
Well, you might not want to recount the Canadian history, but you know, I will say that you have made an history for Canada, right? I think that you've made some history in Canada and for Canada as you were traveling abroad, doing all your battles and things. What are some of those most memorable battles that you've had over the course of your breaking career?
Ooh, so many. I think one of the funnier ones, like they're all different, right? Like getting battled into my crew was one of the most memorable battles because no one was there to see it except my crew.
Right.
Um, some of the more challenging battles where like I was a bit of a cocky kid who, you know, I think I was 16 and, Ronnie was flown down from, I forget, I think he lived in Las Vegas.
Yeah, are you talking about Ronnie from? Okay, yeah, I know you're talking about Super Crew Ronnie.
Yeah. Yeah. So he got flown down. I don't know who this guy is, but everyone was excited about it. So I just called him. I just called him out. Like he was the guest judge, and then it became like this like showcase battle. And it's funny because at first I thought he was like super mad, and like I'm like, oh shit, because like he roasted me. Like there's footage of it, but like I held my own.
Right.
But I was young and just like cocky, and like I held the battle, but he clearly like took it, and it pushed me. Like I always try to call people out when I respect them ultimately and respect their skills. So years later, Ronnie and I have become like really good friends, and like we've
Nice.
connected. Like he even wrote a review for the book. Like he's just an amazing human being. But until I had seen him many years later, we were judging in Calgary, probably like 7 or even probably 10 years later. Sorry, in Winnipeg, not in Calgary. He was judging and I was battling, and we got to sort of talking. And I'm like, oh, you don't hate me. Awesome. And then we sort of hit it off and became, a bit closer. And now, I send him notes and messages. And, it's just this weird thing that there's this like ultimate respect. Like even when I went to Japan, like, or Hong Kong, like everyone wanted to pair me up to battle this guy, Monkey J, who, I don't know how there did some sort of, it wasn't a beef, but like, I think beef is a good thing in some ways, like that fuels the energy to get better on both sides. So maybe it was a beef. I don't know what it was. All I know is if we were both like wanting to win this battle and it was set up as a showcase and it was hype. Like I love battles when both parties are like performing at their best, like they're really challenging each other. Cause it's always whack when like, you're like, I know that other person could have done better. Like I love watching battles or being part of battles when you're both like killing it, and then the better person just wins. And I also love battles that aren't judged, like when you just like you just know that you lost, or you know that you smoked someone. So my favorite battles are like call outs or showcases, because just the idea of someone deciding that you won or lost kind of takes away from that essence that, like, like you have to, and if you don't, you got to keep battling until you just someone sort of taps out, so I really believe in that. Those are at least my favorite battles, where I felt like the most challenge. Also, I think one time when I went to Japan, went to Mezonoguchi station, subway station, and there's like very distinct circles for like different skill levels of dancers. And
Right.
then I
And
just
you wrote about you. Not to cut you off, but you touched on this in the book. I remember.
yeah. This was hype. This is one of those favorite moments. And I just jumped in like obviously like the OG Cypher, and everyone just battled the crap out of me. They're just like, who the hell is this guy? And it was like Katsu and Taisuke and all these guys. And I'm just like, some of them I knew, some of them I didn't. And I just got like they would not accept that I like stepped into this, and then we just went at it, and it was dope. And then like we became good friends and still stay in touch to this day. Like, so, for me, it's about the battle, but it's also about the relationship that comes from, respectfully, like wanting to level up and call people out who I respect, but also like beat them. Like, that doesn't mean like, I think sometimes we get confused that like being respectful has to be like being nice, or like not actually like roasting someone. And right. I think that's where some of the essence can get lost, is like, I have to be nice all the time, and then you lose that like raw, like fire of like, I want to beat you. Like I'm here to beat you. Like, I'm not trying to be nice right now. Like nice mode sort of goes off for at least the battle. Am I going to disrespect you after the battle? No, like it's all love, but I'm not going to be like smiling unless it's to throw you off. Like,
right. Like for me, being respectful is just don't touch me. That's my minimum requirement for be respectful. If you want to, if you want to talk. If you want to do your gestures, do your gestures. But the last thing I want you to do is come in and turn it into like a game of patty cake. You know what I'm saying? I want this to be an intense moment that both of us learn and get better from,
Yeah, no, I'm so with you on that. Like people who do these like gimmick things where like they jump off of people, or like there's sort of a boundary in my mind that you just don't cross. And like people do it, I just think it's disrespectful, like to your point. I mean, but people still do it. So I'm not here to judge, but it's definitely something that I'm not, that's a line I do not cross, unless it's by mistake. But then it's also like you lost because you kicked someone by mistake, so.
Right. These are the unwritten rules of breaking.
Totally. If you can't control your stuff, like you lost.
Exactly. So what would you say now you've been doing this for like a long time, you know what I'm saying? And you've been, I would say, at least from my knowledge, of course, I don't live in Canada, but for most of the time that you've been breaking, you've been a well-known b-boy in your scene, and then, transferring up to the international level, right? So what would you say was your biggest accomplishment in the dance?
I think for me, the biggest accomplishment is I said it before in a different way, but like the relationships that I've developed over time. I've been able to stay in touch with people. I think about generations, and maybe 2 generations ahead of me, call it, and like maybe 2 to even almost now 3 generations this way, and I call that 5 years. Like 5 years, 5 years, 5 years. And I think being able to have a respectful conversation with an elder, and being able to have a respectful conversation with someone who just started, and treat them as equals, as human beings, and be able to follow their journey, be a part of that journey and have them be a part of my journey. So many young people I've been able to connect with, so many people that I've like looked up to, that I've been able to, even whether I got to battle them or speak with them or judge alongside them or even just talk with them, you know, like it's the thing about breaking that's so cool is that, you know, there's no power structure that the rest of the world holds where like there's a hierarchy and, you know, this person's in charge of something. It's just like, if you have a difference to settle, we battle. And like, I'm not like the type of person who fights people, but like some people will fight. Like you solve your problems. In the best of cases, it's done through a battle. But I just love that there's no hierarchy in breaking, like direct hierarchy, because it's allowed me to establish like caring relationships with people that like I've looked up to. And then also for those I know who have looked up to me and letting them know it's an equal playing field. Like I'm learning as much now as I was, you know, 23 years ago. You know, I feel thankful that, you know, one of the things that I didn't have to worry about was, you know, like we were in a safe house, a safe space. You know, my dad was very supportive, and I think overly so because my mom was struggling so much when I was growing up. But yeah, my mom, and I've spoken to my mom quite a lot about this and sort of spoken about even having permission to talk about it for the purposes within the book, but also to raise awareness around mental illness.
For more quality content from Beyond the Cypher with Illskillz, don't forget to press the like and subscribe buttons. Let us know how we're doing in the comment section, and to make sure you don't miss anything from the channel, smash the notification bell. We appreciate the love and support so far. Peace until the next episode.